All right, ready to dive into some really cool research.
Let's do it.
This time, we're looking at how people make decisions, especially when risk and time get thrown into the mix.
Yeah, it's more complicated than you might think.
Way more, right.
Definitely.
We've got this fascinating chapter from, well, it sounds a lot like an economics textbook.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the whole thing got me thinking, like, we always hear about rational decision making, but how much of that is actually true?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Exactly. So are you ready to get into it?
Absolutely. Let's uncover some of those hidden influences.
Okay, so this chapter kicks off with a classic example, the urn lottery.
Okay, I'm familiar with that one.
All right, so picture this. You've got an urn with 10 balls inside, each one numbered. You pick one at random.
Simple enough.
Now, here's the catch. If you pull out an odd number, you win $100. Even number, you get nothing.
50-50 chance.
Exactly. So logically, your expected gain is 50 bucks, right?
Right, because over many tries, it would average out.
Makes sense. A perfectly rational person wouldn't care if they got $50 guaranteed, or if they took that gamble, because in theory, they're both worth the same.
Exactly. The expected value is identical.
But here's the thing. In the real world, most people don't actually behave that way, do they?
Nope, not at all. Most people, they're what we call risk averse.
Risk averse.
Yeah. Basically, it means they prefer a sure thing, even if it's a little less money overall, than taking a gamble with, the same expected value.
Oh, I see. So even though you could potentially win more with the gamble, most people would rather just take the guaranteed 50 bucks.
That's exactly it. Think of it like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush kind of thing.
Makes sense. So is there a way for economists to measure just how risk averse somebody is?
Oh, yeah, there are actually several methods out there, each with its own pluses and minuses, of course.
I bet.
But here's what's really interesting. Even when you use these really precise measurements, people's choices can still be kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's like there's this whole hidden layer of psychology messing with our decisions, even when we think we're being totally logical.
Wow, so it's way more complex than just crunching numbers.
Definitely. Our brains aren't quite as simple as we sometimes wish they were.
All right, so we've talked about risk. What about our feelings about time? The chapter digs into that too, right?
Yeah, definitely. It gets into this idea of intertemporal choices.
Intertemporal
This
choices.
is a fancy way of saying decisions where the costs and benefits happen at different points in time.
Oh, okay, I get it. Like deciding whether to go for that extra slice of cake now or resist for the sake of, future health goals.
Exactly. Or like saving up for retirement.
Hmm.
It's tough to put money aside today, but it'll pay off big time down the road.
Absolutely. So how do economists explain this whole time preference thing?
Well, they use this concept called discounted utility.
Discounted utility.
Yeah. The basic idea is that we tend to value things in the future less than things we can get right now.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's like, I know I should probably go to bed early, but watching just one more episode of that show always seems so much more appealing at the moment.
Exactly. It's that instant gratification thing,
Mhm.
right? The standard economic model assumes we discount the future at a constant rate, meaning, we're consistently more impatient in the short term than the long term.
But I have a feeling it's not quite that simple, is it?
You're right on the money. Research suggests that our discount rate, it's not actually constant at all. And that's where we get into this idea of hyperbolic discounting.
Hyperbolic discounting. Okay, that sounds kind of intense.
It is pretty fascinating. Imagine someone offers you $15 right now,
Okay.
or they could give you different amounts at later times. Studies have shown that people are way more impatient in the short term.
What do you mean?
Well, they might want, say, like $20 in a month to match that immediate 15.
Oh, interesting.
But as the time frame gets longer, they become a little more willing to wait. So they might say they need 50 bucks in a year, or maybe even 100 bucks in 10 years to match that initial 15.
So we're basically more likely to choose instant gratification over, like, bigger rewards that come later.
This is a pretty common human tendency.
Hmm.
And this all ties into something called present bias, which is where we overemphasize the difference between now and the future. Anything that happens beyond this very moment just seems less important, even if it's just a day or two away.
So even if it means a better outcome, we often pick the immediate option just because of this present bias. It's like our brains are wired for instant gratification.
You got it. And we haven't even gotten to the sign effect and the magnitude effect. But maybe we should say those for part two, give everyone a chance to, process all this.
Yeah, good point. We've covered a lot of ground already. For everyone listening out there, are you starting to see how these biases might be showing up in your own lives? We'll get into even more of these fascinating time-related quirks next time. So stay tuned.
It's going to be good.
Welcome back. We're still digging into how our decisions can be swayed by these, well, pretty fascinating psychological factors.
Yeah, it's really eye-opening stuff.
Totally. Last time, we were talking about present bias. You know, that this idea that we put way too much emphasis on the difference between now and later.
Right, like that classic example where people choose $100 today over $110 in a week.
It's like our brains just want that instant reward, even if it means missing out on more later on.
It's hard to resist that pull.
Totally. But you mentioned some other biases last time, the sign effect and the magnitude effect, I think. What are those all about?
Oh, right. Yeah, let's start with the sign effect.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where we actually discount gains more heavily than losses.
What do you mean by that?
So basically, we're more patient when it comes to bad things happening in the future, but way less patient about good things coming our way.
Really? That seems kind of backwards. Why would we be more willing to wait for something bad than something good?
It is a bit of a puzzle, but some researchers think it might have to do with how our brains process positive and negative information. We're just wired to be more sensitive to losses, so a potential loss in the future feels more significant than a potential gain.
So, like, we're more driven to avoid pain than to seek pleasure.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. It's like a built-in protection mechanism.
Interesting. Okay, so what about this magnitude effect?
Right, that one suggests we discount large outcomes less than small ones.
So, like, if someone offered me $1 million in 10 years, it'd feel more tempting than, say, $10 in 10 years.
Exactly. It seems our discount rate actually gets smaller as the stakes get higher.
Does that make sense, though?
Yeah, think about it. A small reward in the future is like, not really worth the wait. But a big reward, that might be worth holding out for.
I guess that makes sense. But man, all this talk about biases makes me wonder, can we ever truly make rational choices about things that involve time?
It's a really good question. And honestly, it's probably not about eliminating these biases entirely. They're just part of being human, you know? But if we can understand them, we can start making more informed decisions.
So instead of trying to be perfectly rational, which seems impossible, we can just use this knowledge to our advantage.
Exactly. Awareness is key. For example, if you know you're prone to present bias, you can put systems in place that help you make choices that are better for your future self.
Like setting up automatic savings contributions so you don't have to rely on willpower alone.
Perfect example. Or if you're trying to eat healthier, you can try meal prepping on Sundays. That way you're less likely to make impulsive, unhealthy choices during the week. It's about creating an environment that sets you up for success.
That's so smart. It's like giving your future self a helping hand, right?
Exactly.
Are there other ways we can, like, outsmart our biases?
Well, one powerful technique is to just reframe how you think about time. We tend to see the present as this separate, special time, while the future feels far off and distant.
Yeah, I get that.
But what if, instead, we started thinking of our future selves as, like, real people with real needs and desires?
So instead of saying, I'll worry about that later, I should be asking myself, how will this decision impact me a week, a month, or even a year from now?
That's the idea. It's about connecting with that future version of yourself. You could even try making a decision and then asking, would my future self thank me for this?
I love that. But what about those times when, despite our best efforts, we slip up and make a choice that our future selves might not be too thrilled about?
It happens to all of us. Don't be too hard on yourself. The important thing is to view those slip-ups as learning experiences, not failures.
So instead of dwelling on the past, I should figure out what triggered that decision.
Yeah, exactly. Was it a particularly stressful day? Were you surrounded by temptations? The more we understand our decision-making patterns, the better we can prepare ourselves for next time. Remember, building new habits, it takes time and practice.
It's a journey, right?
Exactly. One of self-discovery and continuous improvement.
I like that. And it seems like the people we surround ourselves with also play a role in our choices.
Oh, absolutely. The social environment is incredibly powerful. Surrounding yourself with people who support your goals can make all the difference. It's like having a team of cheerleaders motivating you every step of the way.
So if I'm trying to eat healthier, it might help to hang out with people who are already living that lifestyle.
It definitely can. Their good habits can rub off on you, and they can be there to offer encouragement when you're tempted to stray.
Like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Exactly.
Really?
We're social creatures, and our behavior is influenced by the norms and expectations of the groups we belong to.
Makes sense. So by choosing to spend time with people who uplift and empower us, we're creating a more positive and supportive environment for making good choices.
You got it. Choices that truly align with our long-term goals.
This is all so insightful. I'm curious, are there any other strategies we can add to our decision-making toolkit?
Wow, we've covered so much in this deep dive into how we make decisions. It's amazing how much psychology is involved in something we often think of as like totally rational. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to the source material for a sec.
Yeah, always good to tie it all back to the research, right?
Totally. One thing that really stood out to me was how much emphasis the author puts on rationality. They seem to assume that people are like walking calculators, always going for the most logical choice.
Right, like those classic economic models, the ones built on this idea of the perfectly rational person, always carefully weighing costs and benefits to, like, maximize their own gain.
But as we've seen, real life isn't always so neat and tidy.
Not at all. Our emotions, our biases, all those social factors we talked about, they play a huge role.
Yeah, it challenges that whole notion of perfect rationality, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, so many of our decisions are driven by things we're not even aware of, those hidden forces at work. So are we just doomed to make irrational choices then?
I wouldn't say doomed, no. I think it's more about recognizing that we're not perfect. Striving for perfect rationality is probably impossible anyway. But the more we understand our own biases and limitations, the better choices we can make.
Makes sense. It's like acknowledging that we're human, but still trying to improve.
Exactly. It's a journey, right? One of self-awareness and constantly learning. The more we know about how our minds work, the better equipped we are to handle those tricky decision-making moments.
It's been really eye-opening. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to use when I'm facing those everyday choices.
I'm glad to hear that. And hey, don't beat yourself up over past decisions, okay? We all make choices we might regret later. The important thing is to learn from them and use that knowledge going forward.
It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly. Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about. Any final thoughts you want to leave them with?
I guess I'd say embrace the complexity of it all. Decision-making is fascinating, and there's always more to learn. The more curious we are about our own minds, about how things work, the better choices we'll make. Choices that align with our values and goals.
Love that. And hey, listeners, we want to hear from you. What are some of your biggest decision-making struggles? Did any of this resonate with you? Share your thoughts on our website or hit us up on social media. We'd love to keep this conversation going.
For sure. Always happy to chat.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.
And keep those decision-making skills sharp.